Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking about the one, the only XRP. Now, listen, XRP has been overall moving, right? I know in general, over some time, it has slowed down a little bit, but generally, XRP has been moving. It has, come to the all-time highs, and it has done really, really well. Generally speaking, XRP has done really, really well, and I'm super excited to be breaking this crypto down today. Now, I'm going to be talking about some of the things people are not talking about too much, especially in terms of technical analysis, because you know me, I find technical analysis that is king, right? Technical analysis is king. We can see, ladies and gentlemen, that the quarter 3 candle closed, and we got the highest 3-month candle close ever. I mean, absolutely ever, right? So we had some previous ones obviously close at 222. Then we had one close at 207. Then we had one at 206, right? But we can see we are continuing to move to the upside. When we go and bring back the wicks, ladies and gentlemen, we can see that we actually swept all-time highs, right? We swept all-time highs, and we also swept this month, or this 3-month candle right over here. So we got rid of a lot of liquidity, which is good, right? That's why we also seen a little bit of a drop off. But overall, I expect XRP to continue to generally be pumping up. Generally speaking, I expect it to be pumping up. We can see we are kind of in this steep, narrow trend, and we are looking to be breaking out of it. Now, as of right now, we still don't have confirmation that we are breaking out, right? We are kind of just on the edge. We really have to see how this weekly candle closes, because this is going to be super, super important. Well, why is it important? Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's break down the structure one by one. We can see we have this high over here, right? We can see we have this other lower high, keyword lower high, and then we have another lower high. We can also see that the lows have been consistently getting lower and lower. We have this low here, and then we have another low. But then what happened last week, right? Last week we closed actually with a higher low, right? This is higher than this. So we can see potential shift in momentum. Ladies and gentlemen, the time to get serious is now. The next few months are going to be the most crucial time of your lives. Okay. We're going to have crypto exploding, and this is the time to get a portfolio review, right? You got to make sure you have the right cryptos. You don't want any old or dead coins, or you don't want anything that can give you little profits, right? So we provide a portfolio review. We've also been smashing it with the high probability meme coins. We hit an 11x, an 8x, and 5.5x in recent times. We also provide a weekly report on the crypto data, on the crypto analysis, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, on other altcoins as well. You get all this and a bunch more other benefits. Highly recommend joining the private community. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some money. And this weekly candle, we're looking to be breaking out of this trend. At this current moment, ladies and gentlemen, we do have literally an equal high, right? We do have an equal high. What I would really like to see for the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is to push higher, right? Is to push higher, and it's at least to close above $3.03. To close somewhere even at 312, 315, and like 320 would be super, super fabulous. I mean, it would be really perfect. I don't think it's necessarily going to happen, but if we would be able to close somewhere in this green box, this would be a huge breakout. Not only a huge breakout, but a nice close. So the next following week, we probably would get a little bit of sell-off, but after that, we would continue to go to the upside. Now, what's going to happen if we get equal highs or we just kind of reject? Well, then, ladies and gentlemen, we are at a stalemate, right? We are at a stalemate. Either we attempt to break up once again, or we continue to go lower, okay? Because the truth is we are running out of space. We are getting squished. Right? When we go to the daily candles, we can see that we are attempting to go higher and higher. Now, I will say, ladies and gentlemen, that there is a nice candle here, right? Nice institutional candle here. And we can see this candle here did tap into this one. If you guys are not familiar with how it works, candles tap into candles and etc. But we're not going to be giving you a lesson on how to trade and everything. But pretty much we have an institutional candle and we can see we tapped in again. And at this current moment, we are tapping in. So if Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are fairly weak, then we will see momentum go to the downside. Okay, because then it means all we did the last couple of times was that we got rejected off this trend line. We formed consistent lower and lower and lower highs, because you can see as right now we have a lower high on the daily, and we just went into the bank candles each time to sell off lower. Just classic manipulation, right? This is what happens when your coin has heavy manipulation. And there's also lots of institutional money. It's going to trade this type of way. That is just a way. If you guys know anything about technical analysis and you're familiar with order blocks and all these other philosophies, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. But these are mainly the main areas, right? So we're going to be really monitoring how the next few days go. If we cannot really go above this daily candle, that's already going to be huge red flags. Like I said, we still have a couple of days left. Overall, though, we are in a very nice channel, right? We had a similar channel last time where we kind of had this type of trend line, right? We had this type of trend line. We had something like this, boom, right? Something like this. We see we broke out. Then we were kind of retesting off of it. Before you knew it, we were going sideways, right? I think we even made a video when it was going sideways and we said it was going to go up. It was going sideways and then up, right? So if we get something similar, it's going to be the exact same scenario. It just, we're going to go higher this time, right? We're going to be in this type of sell trend, right? We have these lows over here, right? We might come down a little bit lower, boom, boom, maybe do a little sweep, then do something like this sideways, and then eventually go up. Something very, very similar to this, right? Something very, very similar to this. And where would we go? Well, ladies and gentlemen, right? If we go and look at the Fibonacci tool, let's just say we would go somewhere down to these lows. Let's just say we're going to reverse this just the way it's supposed to be, right? The next realistic zone would be the 1.6, unless we get huge expansion to the upside. Unless there's huge money coming in, the next realistic zone is $4.30. Okay. Last time when we went and did something like this, right? When we took the top and the bottom, we didn't even reach the 1.6. We barely went over the other one, right? We barely went over the other one. This time though, because we have been consolidating generally in this area for roughly 308 days, oh my God, almost a year at this point, I do expect bigger breakouts, right? I do expect bigger breakouts because also on a higher time frame level, we have a low here, and generally we have a higher low. So we are consistently creating higher lows. So I would expect probably at least an expansion to 1.6 to 2.2, which means anywhere between $4.30 and $5 would be the next destination we're looking for. And then we probably would start going sideways again. But the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, we probably wouldn't even stay that long. I truly do believe once we have this expansion, right, we might stay here for roughly a very, very few short weeks. And then this is when we would have our final finale pump, where we'd probably pump very, very strong for, I don't know, 4 to 6 weeks. And this is where we're going to hit our final destination, right? It's probably going to be something like this. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it. I love you guys so, so much. Remember, some of this is just speculation, but the technical analysis is 100% on point. I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.